The following is a project of our nonprofit newsroom. Support Midcoast Morning and local journalism today at chly.ca/donate. Local news doesn't survive without local support.
Hello and welcome to Midcoast Morning. I'm Joe Pugh. As Canada's time hosting the FIFA World Cup comes to a close, Nanaimo is hosting its own soccer championship. The BC Youth Provincial A-Cup runs this weekend in the Harbour City. It features 40 teams from across the province, both boys and girls teams from the under 14 through under 18 levels. Sources say it might be the first time ever Nanaimo is hosting the tournament, which is being played across the grass fields at Beban Park, the turf fields at Murlogan, also at Beban Park, and Harewood Centennial Park. I stopped in Thursday morning on the first day of competition and spoke with the executive director of Nanaimo United.
My name's Jason Coates, and I'm the executive director of Nanaimo United FC.
And what did it take for Nanaimo to get this Provincial Youth A-Cup Championship here?
Well, the initial work was put in by our district, the Upper Island Soccer Association, and then we sort of picked up the torch and worked with BC Soccer to bring it to Nanaimo. They were looking for a location outside of the Lower Mainland because of the World Cup, and we've never hosted the youth provincials, at least not for a very, very long time. I couldn't find any history of it, but so it was exciting for us to bring it to the island, and I think there's a lot of people involved in getting it here. The city, Tourism Nanaimo, us as a club, the district, and even BC Soccer.
How big of a deal is this for the folks taking part?
Well, it's a big deal. I mean, it's really the pinnacle of their seasons, and for many of them, it's a real opportunity to, play some new teams outside of their regions, and it incorporates a little bit of excitement around the World Cup and just soccer in general. And so, for a lot of people, this is a real, sometimes once in a youth career opportunity. Some teams here have been here several times before, but there's nothing quite like a championship provincial tournament sometimes to just get you excited.
For more info on what exactly the Provincial Youth A-Cup Championship is and where it fits in the soccer scene, I spoke with the BC Soccer Association's manager of events.
Hi, my name is Hagen Harold. I'm the manager of competitions and events at BC Soccer.
And we're here in Nanaimo for a competition and event. It's the Youth A-Cup. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, so the Provincial A-Cup is sort of our highest level of competition for the non-standards-based players. So there's teams from all over the province that compete to participate in this event. So we've got teams from the Lower Mainland, from Vancouver Island, from the interior, and they play basically their whole season leading up to this event. And we've got some great games on display sort of all day here over the next 4 days.
You said they're non-standards based. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, so within BC Soccer and within Canada Soccer, really, there's an emphasis on standards-based training environments, which require a certain level of coaching certification and number of training sessions, whereas these players, it's more, it's sort of the level below that. So it's still a very high standard, but it's just below that standards-based level that's sort of only in a few different environments within the country, really. So this is more open to anyone. The standards-based can be a little bit more cost-prohibitive for some families, but this is sort of the grassroots level and the top level of that. So, and the teams in the U15 and U17 divisions at this competition are playing to qualify for the national championships, which will be held in October. So some really exciting games coming up.
So this is sort of like the highest level of grassroots soccer that there is. Anything above this is sort of like you're on a pathway to trying to become a professional soccer player and sinking a lot of time and effort and money into that?
Yeah, you could say that at a certain level. There's been sort of a push in the last few years within Canada Soccer to create more standards-based environments, both at the youth and senior level, and that's considered more of sort of the semi-pro path to professional environment. And, you know, kids here still have that opportunity. Some, you know, when they play well here, make their way into those environments later on. But at this point, it's sort of considered like you said, the highest sort of grassroots level that isn't at that standards-based level yet. And those are the kids that are competing for these provincial championships and then in some divisions for the national championships as well.
Does it change anything about the event when it happens during a World Cup from your experience?
From my experience, I can't really say. I haven't been in the position during a World Cup. I was here in 2022, but that World Cup was during the winter. But it's huge. Like, everyone's buzzing with the World Cup, especially with it being here in North America, Vancouver having just finished hosting 7 games. And that momentum, I think you can still really feel it. Everyone's talking about the World Cup. It's in everyone's minds. It's on everyone's lips. And really, everyone is still buzzing from that great run that Canada had as well. So everyone's sort of got that little bit of extra energy, that little bit of extra excitement to be sort of participating in their own little World Cup here at the A-Cup in Nanaimo.
Is there anything that you're doing as BC Soccer to kind of try and like ride the wave?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one tangible thing that's actually come out of it is FIFA Canada has partnered with BC Soccer for the 50-50 draw for the tournament. So there are 50-50 tickets being sold. We have the links up here at the tournament as well, and they're also being sold at the stadiums and venues. And half of that jackpot goes to supporting grassroots soccer in BC. So that's a huge sort of tangible item that we're kind of working with that World Cup. And alongside that, it's just preparing ourselves for the influx of interest that we're expected to have in the sport, and being able to kind of manage that and make sure that all those players have a place to play, coaches have a place to be certified, referees have a place to receive training. We're expecting a lot of interest to come from this World Cup, and we're preparing ourselves to receive that and ensure that everyone has space to participate in the game.
Anything else you think it's important to highlight for the folks in Nanaimo about this A-Cup?
Yeah, I mean, come out and watch. Like, it's a fantastic event that's being put on. Our medal matches are on Sunday, so there'll be a lot of excitement there. As I said, there'll be some national qualifiers there as well. The host club have done a fantastic job putting together a real event feel, especially here at the Babin Park headquarters. So I'd say come out, enjoy some good soccer, and enjoy a great coming together of communities.
Hagen Harold is the manager of competitions and events at BC Soccer. Nanaimo United Executive Director Jason Coates says soccer has seen a lot of growth in BC over the last decade. And I understand that Nanaimo has one home team in this. Is it the U18 girls team?
Yeah, the U18 girls team are representing us. They actually were in the provincials at the U14 level, and they won the bronze. So they're hoping to repeat or improve on that. But it's exciting to have a home team here. But we also have 10 other teams from the island. So from Victoria, from Comox Valley, multiple clubs from Victoria. So it's really exciting, I think, for the island to have 11 teams out of 40 in the tournament.
What does it take to qualify?
So you have to win your region, basically. So there's every age group and gender has 4 teams. 2 are from the lower mainland. 1 is from the interior, and 1 is from the island. In some cases, there might be an extra berth based on if there's a team that maybe didn't declare, so from the interior of the island. And so that's how the island got 11 berths instead of 10, because there was 1 extra slot. And so the team that finished second in that region, which was actually us, the U18 girls, which was great because, you know, it's been back and forth with Comox all year. And so just to have the chance to compete, and they've earned it, is fantastic.
Could you give me a sense of what if we talk about the soccer pyramid, what is that like in Nanaimo specifically?
Well, we're pretty proud of the soccer pathway, or I'm going to say ecosystem. So I'll be honest and say I'm not a big fan of the concept of pyramid. I think of it more as really a block, because a pyramid suggests that you're shedding players as you go. And we think of it as really there's 3 streams, if you will, of interest. One is recreational, and so our goal is to make sure that we have recreational soccer for all ages. And so right from U4 all the way up to kick-arounds with Masters, we have a stream at Nanaimo United. The next stream is what we'll call recreational competitive. Canada Soccer would probably call it grassroots competitive. And this is the pinnacle of that. So this is what's called Tier 2 in BC. And so these are the kids that are, they're competitive. They're more driven to train more or to just potentially travel or compete more often. Many of them still do it for fun, though, but it is a more competitive element. So that's kind of the middle tier. And then the next pillar, if you will, is what we'll call the developmental, or some people will call it the high performance. And that's where you have the BC Soccer Premier League, the BC Premier League, which is the adult semi-pro or pro-am league. And so Nanaimo United is very proud that we offer all of those streams. And our goal is to try to make sure that depending on where somebody wants to play, where their interest is, they have a place to land. Whether it's recreational, whether it's competitive, or whether it's that sort of developmental stream and they still have aspirations of university, pro, semi-pro, we've got it in Nanaimo, so we're really lucky.
It's kind of inevitable that every 4 years you'll see new stories about interest peaking in soccer because of the World Cup. Is that something that you're seeing so far?
I think we've probably seen some more interest, but we've seen a lot of growth in the last 10 years, and we try to keep it as consistent as we can. But there's no question, the combination of a growing domestic league, the introduction of a pro-am or semi-pro league, which is known as the BC Premier League, the introduction of a women's professional league in Canada, the Northern Super League, and the Women's World Cup that was several years ago, and then the Men's World Cup this year. So the combination of all those things, I think, have been good for soccer, and it's fantastic to see the interest among young women, among kids who just maybe hadn't experienced the vibe of a World Cup game, like a stadium. I hope some people listening to this will have been able to get over there because it's pretty amazing. So I think it's not going to hurt us, and we're going to try to continue to build on that general excitement, but also keeping in mind that we want to get people just out there on the pitch on a rainy Sunday with their buddies, and play some soccer.
Well, what is the pathway for anyone listening who is interested in playing more soccer than they do right now? What do you have to do to find more information or to join up with the right fit for you?
Well, a great place to start is NanaimoUnitedFC.com, and we have full-time staff that will help you figure out where you should land. And even if you're a complete beginner, we have programs for people that just want to learn how to kick the ball around, right from one-on-one training at a grassroots level, just to learn some basics, all the way to some group training, often called academy training, and then team-based sessions. And we run all year long, including summer camps. So there's all kinds of entry points, whether you're 4 years old or whether you're 55 years old. We've got entry points for you, and we can support, or we can point you in the right direction.
What was the infrastructure ask for something like this? So I know Nanaimo, for example, has the relatively new still turf fields near Harewood. Is this, are they something that allowed this tournament to take place?
Yeah, there's really two primary requirements, hosting requirements. One is infrastructure, so you have to have at least 6 fields plus some extras. And the city of Nanaimo has been fantastic to work with in that we have more than 6 fields that are very suitable. And so we're able to easily manage that. You still have to work with the city. You still have to recognize that it does displace other user groups temporarily. But so we met that requirement really well in partnership with the city of Nanaimo. And I think it's important that people know that these 40 teams and several thousand fans are coming because we have these facilities. So that investment really allows this to happen. The second thing is operationally. So as a host organization, you have to have the operational capacity to do this, and it's not easy. It takes most of the work is done before the first ball is kicked. So it's field prep by the city, by us, it's equipment, it's liaising with BC Soccer, it's accommodations. So we have, you can imagine, 40 teams and their fans staying in Nanaimo and the region. So that's a huge impact for us economically, but it also means we have to have the capacity to do that, right? So as a club, we have full-time staff. We are a national youth license club, and so we have the capacity to operationally put this on in partnership with BC Soccer. And then the facilities, as I mentioned, they're top-notch. Lots of great comments today. We've got grass and turf, and it's been great.
What do you hope that maybe the impact or the legacy of this tournament coming here to Nanaimo will be once it's over? I know you mentioned that, for example, the opportunity to host this maybe came about in the first place just because the World Cup was in Vancouver, so they were looking for somewhere not on the Lower Mainland for it.
Well, I think that's one of the opportunities, is that we have shown BC Soccer, although they knew, they were very happy to work with us, because I think as a club, we've been very consistent in our operations. But we've also shown some of the Lower Mainland teams that, hey, it's not so bad coming over to the island, right? And some of them rightly don't come over all that often, and so they can be really afraid of the ferries, of, well, where do I go? Where do we stay? And so I've had several clubs already come up and just thank us for the tournament and how easy it's been. Richmond FC is hosting the provincials next year, and they've already come up and asked, hey, well, can we talk afterwards and just pick your brain about what went well, what didn't, what would you change? And so I think, anytime you can share the load around the province, and again, what a wonderful thing for our 11 teams on the island to not have to travel to the Lower Mainland. Kamloops has been a really gracious host the last, couple of years, and they've done a great job. But that's a significant travel commitment for island teams, right? And so to be able to host it on the island, maybe some Victoria teams or maybe Comox will think about putting in a bid to host it in the future. It'd be great.
Is there anything else you think it's important to let the community in Nanaimo know, either about this tournament or about soccer in Nanaimo more broadly?
I just think that I'm a big believer in sport and recreation and culture. And, I know sometimes when you think about facilities or you think about the costs, it can get complicated. But I just have to say, looking at the thousands of people that are spread across Nanaimo, and we've got BMX is going to be happening this weekend, and there's just multiple events that when we come together as a community, when we have the right facilities, and then when we work together to really utilize them fully so they're not sitting empty, that's when it gets kind of exciting as a community.
Well, you've made me think about, say, the idea of Canada hosting the World Cup. A lot of conversations about, this many hundreds of millions of dollars were spent to host the World Cup. And then, what's the economic benefit? What is kind of your version of that for the Provincial A-Cup here in Nanaimo?
Well, I think my version is we're using existing fields that we've collectively built up over time. And we're really aiming, we as a club really aim to work with our partners, particularly the city, to get that utilization up to sort of 80 or 90%. And then you make them sustainable, but it also starts to get exciting because you see people out there all the time. For me, I find it very infectious just to see people out there being active at whatever sport. I'm really looking forward to Saturday with BMX, and I can look over the hill here and I can see some world-class BMX happening right beside me in the same facility. And that's the kind of thing I think that as a city, if we can use events like this, I'll give you a great example. The 55 plus games was here last year. We are using some of their equipment. They gave us some portable benches, and then they gave us a $5,000 grant from their legacy fund, which has now funded some of the equipment that is being used here today. And so, there's an example. Together, we're putting on events like this.
Jason, thank you so much for taking the time.
You bet.
Jason Coates is Executive Director of Nanaimo United FC.
Midcoast Morning is part of our nonprofit newsroom project, supported by listeners like you. Keep this program on the air by funding it today with a monthly sustaining donation at chly.ca/donate. We've got tote bags and shirts if you need an incentive.
This week, Nanaimo is playing host to BC's Youth Provincial A-Cup Soccer Championship. The tournament brings 40 teams to the Harbour City, competing across different age groups. There are 11 Vancouver Island-based teams taking part, including one from Nanaimo. Some age brackets are competing for the chance to move on to national championships. That's the case for Victoria's Lakehill FC. I spoke with a few of their players Thursday morning ahead of their first match.
I'm Ryan Boyne. I play for Lakehill in Victoria.
I'm Avery Donaldson, and I also play for Lakehill in Victoria.
Lena Che, I also play for Lakehill.
Okay, and you're in Nanaimo for the Provincial A-Cup Championship. What does this mean to you?
I mean, it's really important for me. I've been trying to get the gold medal for lots of years now, so hopefully this year's the one.
It means a lot because I can, me and my team, we can just, step up our playing level and, go to the next level, which is really good, and I'm proud of us. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's important to us because we just worked so hard over the few past months, and we just, worked really hard at Islands, and now we're here.
What does it mean for you folks that this tournament is on Vancouver Island? Have you been to provincials before elsewhere? What changes with it being an island tournament?
Yeah, I've been to provincials in Surrey and Kamloops, and I think it's really nice having it on the island. I mean, it changes a little bit because we're not as in the team bonding kind of thing. We're not staying at the same hotel, but it's kind of nice because it's close by and stuff.
Yeah, same with Ryan, been to provincials in Surrey and in Kamloops, and I'd say that it definitely is, you don't see your team as much because everyone's staying in different places, whereas, Kamloops, everyone's shared the same hotel. So just, the team bonding stuff.
Do any of you have an idea of, what you hope to do with soccer after this tournament or, after your youth career finishes?
I'm hoping to go to school with it, but right now I'm just not sure of it. Playing with the women's team would be great, too.
Same for me, playing collegiately, playing with women's team, and for this tournament, hopefully winning, going to nationals. I think that'd be an amazing experience for our team.
Yeah, same as Avery said. Yeah.
So you're in one of the level. I heard that there were two age brackets here where the winner of this goes on to nationals. You're in one of those?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're in U17, so that is a national year. So we could go all the way. Yeah.
Where are the nationals this year?
Newfoundland and Labrador, I'm pretty sure, which is pretty far, but it'll be a great experience to go.
Well, good luck, and thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me.
Yeah, thank you.
This weekend's U17 winners will head all the way across the country to St. John's in October. The U15 champs won't have to go quite as far. Their national championship will be held in Surrey in the fall. It takes more than players to put on a championship. Right before kickoff at one of the fields, I had the chance to chat with a reffing team.
I'm Akbar Mohad. This is a U16 Girls Provincial A-Cup. I'm here with Crystal and Ben Anthony.
And so I see you got a flag in your hand. You're doing the lines today?
Yeah, AR assistant referee. Yep.
So if this is a Provincial A-Cup championship for all of the youth playing, what is that like for you as a referee?
It's exciting. It's higher competition. It's more fun to watch. Yeah.
In a way, is there a sort of heightened sense of occasion for you as a ref? What is the pathway working as a ref like?
I'm a bit on the older end, but I think Ben can explain. Ben.
Well, this is a huge occasion for the youth playing in today's game. Is there the same kind of vibe for the refs in the tournament?
Well, the vast majority of these games get assessed. So we get mentored, assessed, and based on how we perform, we do better, and then we can get invited back to even high-level tournaments in the future.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I know you got to go ref in 30 seconds. Good luck.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thursday morning, I also spoke with BC Soccer's sporting director, Lisa White, who told me about the different paths youth can take in the game.
There are definitely different pathways that you can take in soccer in BC. Everything starts at grassroots, and that is the biggest base for the sport. It's one of the most important spots for kids to get engaged, for families to get engaged in the sport. From grassroots, there can be a little bit of a deviation from going into the BCSPL, which is the top youth league that we have in the province, or staying in Division 1 and competing more locally within club systems. And so it's a massive event that actually doesn't even happen at the BCSPL level. So this would be one tier right below that top level. So certainly a top level in its own right.
And this is a youth championship. Once people age out of that, where do they go if they want to keep playing soccer in BC?
The adult leagues is where you would go, and ideally they stay involved in the game. We have all the way up through U70 and walking soccer. And I think what's important for players to know is there's so many roles in the sport that maybe they don't realize is something that they actually would like to do. So whether it's being a match official, becoming a coach, being a sport administrator, there's many ways to stay involved in the game, and connecting with your local club is a great way to look at what do I do that maybe my playing now has changed, and how do I still want to be involved in this community and in these spaces around the sport.
What's the permeability between the different leagues? So you mentioned there's something called the BCSPL, and then there's the teams that are competing in this are sort of like Division 1. There's another division below that. What is the ability of folks to like move between the various divisions and leagues?
Yeah, there's permeability and there's movement. Most of it will depend on what a player is looking for and what a family is looking for in their soccer playing experience. So the BCSPL is the BC Soccer Premier League. And if that's what a player is desiring for, they would go to a club that offers that level. And that would depend on a license that the club holds. And they would have a tryout, or they can be evaluated and potentially join that. So there is movement between them. Typically that happens, though, at the U14 level, but it can certainly happen after that.
Is there anything else you think it's important to highlight for folks in Nanaimo about this tournament taking place this weekend?
Just thank you. I think we want to highlight our gratitude and appreciation for the community opening up their fields and the setup that they've done, and made it feel really special as players and teams arrive and as we arrive. The welcome we get, the support we get, it's around. You're going to see lots of people, and it's going to be busy. Be patient, maybe with some traffic jams and some parking lots. We won't be here forever, and we're really enjoying our time here. So we want to highlight just our gratitude.
Lisa White is sporting director with BC Soccer. The Provincial A-Cup Championship runs in Nanaimo from now until Sunday. That's our show for the day. Thank you for joining me. I'm Joe Pugh, host and producer of Midcoast Morning. Jesse Woodward is our executive producer, and RB Frew is our technical advisor. You can sign up for CHLY's newsletter at chly.ca/subscribe. If you have a story you'd like us to cover, you can email us at news@chly.ca. Our theme song is First One by local Nanaimo band Waste Management. That's all for now. I'll talk to you on another Midcoast Morning.
This program gives thanks to the Nanaimo First Nation as we broadcast and podcast from their traditional territory. Thanks for listening.